Man, you might not know, but I've been taking footage or doing trial takes like 5 times already. I've been doing this for the past hour. Hopefully, you get this on this last one. Uh, Again, this is Simples of Shoutcasting. We're already on episode 2. Topic: making money in esports. So let's get started. Can you make money, or let's be more specific? Can you make good money in esports? The short answer is yes. You can definitely make money in esports or the industry itself. You can make money in any industry, but is it consistent? Is it stable? The answer to that in esports is no, nada. There is a lot of people that have put a good part or a good chunk of their lives, pursuing this industry because we believe in it, because we hope to be able to stay in it, live in it for as long as possible, because it's the dream for us. But the sad reality is it's not there for everybody. We want it to be there for everybody, but it's so cutthroat that some people get so burnt out after a few years that they just go back, or just don't chase it anymore because of how filthy or how filthy difficult it is to just get more sustainability here. And that is already a thing. Making money in esports is not easy. It's simple though, but it's not easy. There's a lot of things, a lot of factors that make it very difficult, and one of them could probably be because there's not a lot of work for everybody there. You have to have a certain amount of adaptability to yourself, and I'm a prime example of somebody who did not adapt to a certain trend. So when everybody was doing Mobile Legends at like 2017, 2018, I did not like it at all. I just don't believe in the game. I mean, it's a good game for maybe other people out there, but I still prefer my PC games. I have casted mobile games before, but those are games that I just enjoyed way back, like AOV as well as PUBG Mobile. But if I could, I would still chase PC gaming. Now, I'm sorry if I'm not looking at you directly, guys. I am thinking a lot of this stuff in my brain. But again, the adaptability of that, if you're not able to adapt, sometimes that's just it. The trend, the money actually follows the trend, and if you're not able to follow the trend yourself, money will not come your way. It's a sad truth, sad reality, but that is the reality that we live in. One of the talking points that I wanted to illustrate to you guys here is, where does esports make its money from? So however you are, maybe if you're in a tournament organizer body, you're in a broadcast company, if you're a esports talent, or maybe you're a creative, those people who do the awesome videos, the videographers, the editors, the photographers, stuff like that. Maybe even the pro players. There is one word that will always come up, and this is the one thing that is making esports float in terms of revenue, and that is sponsors. Sponsors are the main factor, the main income stream for people, or for esports to thrive, maybe even in the industry to thrive. You'd think that basketball doesn't thrive on sponsorships. You see everywhere, there's branding left, right, and center. I mean, goodness me, you see Nike, you see Jordans, you see Adidas, Under Armour. There's so much branding in sports, and that is where a good chunk of their money comes from, because again, sponsors want to spend money. And why do these sponsors want to spend money on esports? One easy thing: viewership. So, okay, let's break it down first. Let's say Nvidia, or no, let's go for something a bit bigger. Let's say Nike. You're looking for a way to advertise your brand. You put maybe commercials on TVs. Yes, you go for the people who don't really use computers, but how do you get to people who are playing computers, using computers nonstop, maybe their phones nonstop? Think. you go for where there's a lot of viewership. And where does that viewership come from? Esports. A lot of esports tournaments cater or rake in billions of views every year. Billions. I'm not even dawdling like that. There's like the one stream can even rack up to 1 million viewers if you are in the right place at the right time. And these guys, they're thinking to themselves, why haven't we tried to reach out to this market? They might know our brand, but they might not know us as well. So we need another way for them to to find us out. And one of those things is getting into the esports industry. So they reach out to one of these organizers. They say to, let's say maybe Mineski or let's say Goliath, yo, we want to make a tournament. Let's call it the NPL, the Nike Pro League, because we want to expand our new line of esports footwear or some crap like that. And we're gonna be dropping $100 million on this. Bam! There's your big money in esports. The sponsors who want to spend money to advertise their brands, and you can call me out on this, but I'm pretty sure that is where a good chunk of money comes from. Unless you're pro players that are fighting for prize pools from tournaments, most of the people who try to do the other stuff has to make money off of this one. So if you're a tournament organizer or a broadcast company, that's where your money comes from. And then you kind of branch out a little bit. So you go to these talents, you go to these creatives, and you pay them a portion of that money so that they work for you. And that is where esports talents kind of get their money from, a portion of this money. All right, let's talk about a situation here that I've experienced before. You know how being a freelance, you don't even have to be an esports talent to relate to this, where you would agree on 2 weeks later, you have to pay me after I do the job. That you have to process. Yeah, I understand. You have to process your payment first. It goes through your financing, your HRs, or whatever you want to call it. And 2 weeks later, it has to be on me. But ever so slightly as a freelancer, maybe more so in esports freelancing, where we get delayed our payments months, maybe even a year, where we're freelancing, we need the cash because it's our lifeline, and they pay us a year after, maybe even 2 years after. You could see how difficult that situation is. I don't even know why I started this topic, but this talking avenue where I'm talking about how long it is to get our payments. But you can see that it's a little bit difficult for talents to get their money straight up, because sometimes the sponsors don't pay on time. They might have their own processing where, thank you for creating this tournament. It was awesome, guys, but we have to process it 45 days afterwards, and we'll get your payment after. So you have to wait. And the only thing you can do as an esports talent is you have to ask the ones who hired you, is it there yet? Is it there yet? Is it there yet? And it's a terrible practice. It's a damn terrible practice. You have to pay on time because it's not professional, guys. But it happens, and we can't really do too much about it. I'll talk about that in another video. I think it's a shorter topic, but it's also a very important topic. So as you can see, a lot of the money that comes in esports really just comes from these people who want to invest in these tournaments, and more so than not, it's brands who want to who advertise their products. So next up is, it's a very simple question, but I think we still need to clarify this one. Is it sustainable to work in the Philippines? And I'd like to make it so that we can work comfortably in the Philippines, but the money here is not as good as you think. Again, this video is gonna be me talking about money, but it's important to also kind of keep your eyes open to this fact, because without money we can't really sustain ourselves in this industry. You think that we would do this out of the love of our hearts? Yes, we would, but not always, because we also need to sustain ourselves. That's the thing. So working in the Philippines, For the majority, short term, yes, you can make money short term in the Philippines. I've seen it before. Long term, no. We've come a long way though, because the first time I started casting, the payment for, let's say, a day of work, and this is like 6 to 8 hours of work, is 400 pesos, 300 actually, even at some point, and it was good. I started when I was in college. It was a good additional revenue for me. But the more I got, the time that I graduated, the time that I needed money to save up for myself for the future, I wanted more. And that's not me being greedy. That's me being realistic that this is not a sustainable option. I was able to create some money here and there. Is actually much better now. We have had better rates than we did 5 years ago, but it still is a long way to go. So the short term of it, yes. The long term, no, or maybe, at least depending on where you are positioned at. Like, I would say the average amount that a talent can get here in the Philippines, and this is localized payment, right, can range from 1,000 pesos to 20,000 pesos, and that is an average. It goes wildly in between, and the one big factor that can change is the sponsor. If you know that there's a big sponsor, you know that you can get at least a good chunk of money working for them. Okay, I'll give myself an example here. I was able to work outside of the country. I won't say where, but I was able to rake in at least 6 digits worth of income for a couple of days of work. And that was probably one of the biggest that I've worked for. And this was outside the Philippines. So that was pretty cool. Inside the Philippines, I was only able to get at least maybe into the 30K range, which is okay. But since, again, the work is few far in between, it's not enough. Like, if you spread that to the weeks to the days that you have not been working, you could have still have gotten more if you were just working in a regular desk job. So don't get like amazed. Oh, damn, Aster, you're getting like a 30K range in the Philippines. That's already good. If I'm getting it every day, damn, son, yeah. But no. All right. So again, I'm just a little bit hyped about this. So again, sustainability in the Philippines is very maybe. Like, you can find yourself work that pays good, but it's probably not going to be always there. But if you can, great for you. But as a shoutcaster, it is very difficult unless you are going for maybe Dota 2 or Mobile Legends. But if you're not, if you're the others that have been tirelessly working for FPS titles like CSGO, like Rainbow Six Siege, you really can't just be a shoutcaster, or else you're not going to be able to save up for your future. And that's kind of like a sad reality. I would love to be able to shoutcast Super Smash Ultimate non-stop and, earn enough to save up. And that would be the dream for me as of the moment, but it's not happening, or maybe even League of Legends. League of Legends is in such a weird situation nowadays where you think that it's super strong, but at the same time, it's not really for those who are inside the industry. I'll probably talk about that in a different video. So again, for the short of it, you can't really sustain yourself working in just our country. You have to try to branch out into the other ones. But here's the thing. It is also pretty cutthroat to work in other countries, because the only real edge that we have working in other countries is that we can shoutcast in English. That's the only reason why you're going to get hired anyways to go outside the country. Maybe aside from you being a really good talent, right? Is that you can talk or you can speak in this particular language. But newsflash, Southeast Asian countries other Southeast Asian countries also know how to speak in English. It might not be the most clearest of accents. That's maybe why they're still going to the Philippines, because I feel the Philippines has one of the clearest English accents out there. But there are those who get into the industry in their own countries and they have great English accents, like not British accents, but English in general, where everybody can understand them. And this is what tournament organizers and sponsors want, is just for you to be clear, concise, and informative as a shoutcaster. So it's awesome, right? So I'll just probably talk about the rates. Because I'm looking at my talking points. As my third talking point is, how do I start earning? It's pretty easy. You just find work and then you get paid, right? So here we are. We're gonna talk about how much do you really earn as a shoutcaster. Now, I think this was said to me a year or 2 years ago that the average shoutcasting fee, at least in terms of dollars, in the international rate, is $300 US, and that is roughly around 15,000 pesos here in the Philippines. But you can't expect everybody to pay that much amount of money when you're gonna be working in the Philippines, right? So you have to at least lower your expectations. But at least if you do get at the international gig, you have a little bit of that understanding that, oh, okay, I can actually at least haggle around $300 per day of work. You can also have, all right, so for the Philippines now, there's also probably the average that we're talking about in terms of shoutcasting fee can range from 3,000 pesos to 10,000 pesos average. Maybe let's give an average of 7,000 pesos. That is probably the average professional rate that you can go for right now. If you're not as established as the shoutcasters that you know of as of the moment, like me, Wolf, Manjin, Shinbu, the other ones that you see from the nationals, you might not get as a big of a rate. So try to at least work within your limits, and then you can build up as your portfolio also builds up. So that's always something you can't reach as high, because people will say, are you really that worth it? And when you're not, or let's say that you get a 10,000 peso gig, your first shoutcast ever. Holy crap, I am so good right now. You do your shoutcast, you're a total noob, you flunk, and then this tournament organizer is one of the biggest, and they say never gonna work with you again. And they say to other tournament organizers, don't work with this guy, he just rakes it in for the money. No. You have to be at least a little bit realistic with your ability to do stuff. People might not like it when you oversell yourself. So please at least work within reason. But here's the thing, all right? So there's other things that you can also try to work out from asking for money. The more that you work in esports or freelancing, the more that you understand that there's a lot of types of payment that you can go for, where you have your regular talent fee, wherein maybe you have a talent fee where you have to be paid like 3,000 pesos for 8 hours, but then you extend to 9 hours, 10 hours. Are they going to reimburse that? Hell no. So you have to be able to say to them, if you're going to extend my work to 9 hours, 10 hours, I want an additional 500 pesos per hour. And then you can also talk about your transportation fee, your food fee, your accommodations if you're going to be shoutcasting from somewhere far. There's a lot of things that you can actually not really make money of, but you can ask the tournament organizers to pay for them so that you don't have to pay for them. And in turn, you save money and because you save money, you actually earn that money back. So we've had times where an organizer actually paid for everything, for transportation, for food, for accommodations, and this happens a lot in international casts where you just get the whole shebang. It differs depending on the tournament, but it's almost always the same treatment, so that's always pretty cool. Anyways, that's about it for this episode. I'm not sure how long I've been talking. Oh my gosh, it's been 20 minutes. So anyways, a quick conclusion, guys. Esports definitely has its high points, but it's not for everybody. Remember that being successful in anything, you gain the most as the ones on top. So the more that you work here, the more that you get recognized, the better your chances are for getting opportunities. There's also a lot of competition that you have to work around, but if you're able to at least get a good chunk of work or a stable amount of work, then that is good for you. But a lot of us really still struggle within this field. And the big kind of conclusion I just want to talk about here is that don't put yourself into that one basket. Don't think that when you get into esports, when you get your first shoutcast, your first stream of consistent work, that it's already going to be that for the end of the days. Don't ever believe that, guys. You have to always try to get something else out there. And whether it's trying to start a business or getting into another industry, you have to keep your eyes open to the opportunities that can, you know, create a more stable future for you. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one for the third episode of Symbols of Shoutcasting. I'll create a playlist on my YouTube channel so you can check it out at www.youtube.com/asteroidgaming. And heck, if you want to support me, you can also read the articles that I post on my website. I'm trying to create more traction from a website that is www.asteroidgaming.com. I'm just creating some fun tidbits there. I also post my Symbols of Shoutcasting and my photography stills. If you're interested in checking out what I have for my shots, that will be awesome. Anyways, guys, I'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye.